Hey gorgeous one, welcome to today's daily distraction where I read to you from my first book, The Men I've Almost Dated, in the hope that it will help to distract you for just a few minutes from everything else that's happening in the corona crazy world right now. We are up to page 64, so if you've got your copy you can read along. Or you can even go and buy your own copy. To be honest, as an author, I would love you to do that. It is available on most of the online bookstores in print or electronic book format. So please, get yourself a copy if you feel inspired to do so. But in the meantime, let's go. Today's chapter is called Market Competition. While I've developed a great capacity for solving dilemmas around the home, I've found many parties and social occasions more difficult to navigate. They can be full of landmines when you're single, particularly when most people are in couples. These events shouldn't be daunting, but most of us have watched Bridget Jones's escapades. We know about the questions friends and strangers ask 30-somethings about having children and the absence of a life partner. However, there is something far worse than commenting on a woman's lack of children as she watches her years of fertility gallop off over the horizon and out of sight. I call it market competition, and it's not well-meaning. Market competition is about women competing for resources, men. It's about watching your man like a hawk and keeping all other women, especially single women, away from him. Women do this really well and it can happen in any social situation, on the street, in the office or at parties. Women demonstrate the behaviour subtly or obviously, and it happens a lot. Kay was an example of market competition at its finest. She was the wife of a colleague and we met at work functions. It didn't matter how many times I tried to engage her in polite, friendly conversation. She would utter only the shortest responses and occasionally shoot me a steely fuck off gaze. Kay wasn't excessively introverted and interacted with everyone else in a positive way. I racked my brains, but I couldn't think of anything I might have done to upset her. I'd only met her twice before and was always polite. Then my friend and colleague Gemma shed some light on the real issue. Kay had treated her exactly the same way until Gemma got a boyfriend. Almost overnight, Kay became friendly and normal because Gemma was off the market. Kay's husband was not the type to stray. He adored his wife and showed it. But I'd seen her physically pull him in the opposite direction when she spotted me nearby. In her eyes, I was competition and we would never be friendly while I was single. She was attached and I was not. This made me a threat. Apparently. Kay was an extreme case because she was so obviously rude, but her behaviour wasn't unusual. Many attached women just didn't like single women around their menfolk. There are some single women who habitually pursue men who already have partners. They will be open to the advances of attached men and act in a predatory way. But if you're at a party and your partner is committed, it's unlikely another woman will threaten your relationship. So either most women feel insecure in their relationships, what a depressing thought, or rational thought processes vanish at events like my friend Rhonda's birthday party. My outfit was pretty conservative, no cleavage and a skirt down to my knees. It certainly didn't scream, I'm a slut who is up for absolutely anything and I'm here to steal your man. I arrived at 8 p.m. and looked forward to chatting to some people I knew and perhaps meeting some new ones. But it didn't work out that way. Although the birthday girl and her family made me very welcome, not many others did. The acquaintances I knew only stopped for a brief hello before hiding themselves away in a corner. This left me hanging around the kitchen, smiling hopefully at passers-by and pretending I was comfortable. All I really wanted to do was disappear. Some people smiled as they walked by, and most women took careful note of my outfit, using that rude once-over glance women often give each other. That horrible way women check each other out when you start at the top of the head, move to your eyes down to the toes, then sweep your way up, back up to the head again. Whenever this happens, I always wonder if I should hike up my skirt, give a cheeky smile and ask, do you see something you like? At least it might shock them into better behaviour. If I did talk to a man, his girlfriend or wife would swiftly move in and move him on. I spent a lot of time staring intently at the bookshelves and loitering by the drinks table that night. Observers probably assumed I was a far-sighted, book-obsessed alcoholic. The whole situation was very familiar, and I left less than 2 hours after I arrived. It was an example of how some people just don't know what to do around single women. Single men don't appear to have this problem. I'm not sure why this is, but it feels a little unfair. When you're single, some men will check you out when their girlfriend or wife isn't looking. But a decent, normal male who tries to make you feel welcome will often find his girlfriend or wife soon hanging onto his arm with a determined he's mine stronghold. Or if she's across the room, he'll receive furious glances and a few sharp words in the car on the way home. So I sound quite bitter, don't I, in that part of the book? And I can understand why. Because that reaction from women is really common when you're single. And I think it's a really sad thing that obviously women feel so insecure that they see a woman who presents herself well and, is friendly as a threat to their partner, even when they're standing right next to them. It's completely nuts. And that once over look, I cannot deal with that, man. Like, why do women do that to each other? Fair enough, you notice someone's wearing a really cool pair of shoes. You go, oh, I love your shoes, or I love your dress, or whatever. That's fine, that's lovely. Like, let's compliment each other. But that whole competitiveness stuff, it just really pisses me off. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about that. Maybe you don't agree with me, that's fine. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll continue reading the chapter in tomorrow's Daily Distraction. Take care, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.